we're going to begin with some opening remarks from either side, and then we're going to move on to more specific items.
There'll be issues where we will disagree, and there's issues where we will agree. The fact that we're at the table here, once again, is a huge step.
Negotiations and resolutions and all of that should come organically from the two sides, and that mediator should maintain a interested but passive role.
You want Jerusalem because having it in its entirety as your capital city is a powerful symbol of Israel's strength and independence, and the strength and independence of the Jewish people. If we can jointly find a way for Palestine to truly achieve security, autonomy, and dignity, the same thing Israel wants, without having Jerusalem, Israel can have Jerusalem without us feeling like we are making a huge concession.
Israel is concerned that if aid is sent to Gaza and money flows in, it will come back in the form of missiles and bombs.
The Russian Federation would like to contend that what really needs to be discussed is the ability for Palestinians to help themselves.
Food, water, shelter, clothing, these things cannot be used for terrorism. These things can be used for basic survival, and that's what the Palestinian people need.
Those are tools that can help a society come together and rebuild without fostering terrorism.
It will open up borders and make Israel vulnerable and susceptible to attacks from organizations like Hamas.
Most of Hamas will stop attacking you because they will have better things to do. For example, helping build up the Palestinian state.
The majority of the people in Gaza support this terrorist organization. And if we were to give aid, that would only be strengthening Hamas.
This is not true. The reason as to why Hamas was elected was because they saw potential in change compared to our previous leaders in government.
Hamas really gets its power from the people because it offers many popular welfare programs.
We can't determine how much support there actually is because Hamas is an armed group that is in basically physical and military control of the Gaza Strip.
I would like to propose just a broad coalition of Arab and non-Arab nations that will help to administer aid and ensure that we are able to quell our own terrorist elements.
Qatar is a neutral body. They are here as a mediator. They are here to help.
Statements released by Hamas, in addition to the people living within the Gaza Strip, they're asking for fundamentally three main things. One is a peace agreement, mostly having to do with the Gaza siege in 2007. The second is humanitarian aid, which I will address in a second. And the third is a two-state solution. Hamas has actually been relatively reasonable.
We can't just immediately assume that a group that is willing to do radical things, such as a group like Hamas, will comply once they get the things that they want.
I think we're forgetting how hard it is to combat terrorism. I mean, Israel has been lucky enough to receive aid from nations such as the United States, which offers them a huge advantage, and all we are asking of you is to lift the aid blocks in the Gaza Strip.
Hamas doesn't understand talks. They understand violence. They understand terror, fear in their citizens and of Israel, and that is how they communicate.
If you dealt with Hamas, as you just said, in force, that would most likely set these negotiations back dramatically.
Let's not look at aid as a concession. Let's look at aid as a way of strengthening our collective future.
We have an international, unbiased party who is overseeing all of this, which is another thing that Israel had requested at first. So at this situation, I think that this is the best situation, best resolution that we currently have.
We must not forget why Hamas is fighting the way it is. It has seen that these talks we have had in past years have yielded no real solution.
Let us look at the facts of what Israel is giving in the following resolution. First, a neutral body would be created to give aid to the people of Gaza. Secondly, Israel has discussed slowing down the settlements in the West Bank. And thirdly, Israel is discussing loosening the restrictions on the blockade in the Gaza Strip.
So, I think this is where we can begin to see the ugly face of stagnation.
Unless you guarantee the safety of the state of Israel, there will be no further talks.
Well,
let me just
what we need to
clarify
do
something.
now is we all need to calm down, take a deep breath. We're going in circles over the same issue, but you just sounded like very argumentative and very violent. And we
Our people are being threatened. We cannot talk to a group that's condoned a terrorist group.
Guys, hold on. Can I mention something?
Your people back a terrorist group.
Let's not turn this into a yellowocracy.
Guys, can you come together?
Biggest issue, which is Israeli settlements.
It's not claimed by anyone, and Israel sees no reason to stop building settlements.
It is recognized by the UN that Israel actually has no right to be building those settlements in that territory.
We have not heard many constructive actions from the Palestinian Authority that would lead us to want to stop these settlements.
You could build settlements in that territory as much as you would like. That would also provide you with the buffer zone you so desire.
Israel is willing to discuss cessation of some Gaza or West Bank territory in exchange for absolute guarantees of peace.
We need some concessions from you to say we will stop Hamas, or at least try to stop the terrorists from Hamas, so we can help you in return.
We are honest in our attempts to protect your people by regulating our military wing and regulating Hamas. So I think that we have made some concessions.
The fact that there wasn't a state of Palestine does not mean that there weren't Palestinian people there that had claims to that land. Okay, and that is the difficult question that we have to sort out.
I'm not quite sure how you plan to move all those people who are already settled in. There needs to be a program.
To state that this is all Israeli territory and thus there should be no discussion, I think is counterproductive to why we're all here. They are a security concern for Israel, and they are a political concern for the Palestinian Authority.
Would this include Jerusalem? Because currently that is in between these two lines. If so, we would halt settlements gaining this land.
The fact that we are recognizing this would make it an absolutely uncontended border. This land would be completely yours.
I understand that this is also another interest of Israel, the exchange of Israeli for Palestinian prisoners, and perhaps this could be thrown into the plan as well.
This is a very original and new idea, seeing as we're at a bit of a gridlock going back and forth about Jerusalem.
This is a very last-minute, frantic decision that we're trying to make right now, and I think we have other options.
No outcome is always an option in all negotiations. Okay? That is, of course, in a real-life negotiation. Here, we're going at it full throttle. First of all, you have, as I said, the coastal plains, but then you also have the Jordan River Valley, which is one of the fertile areas in this whole region, and therefore, obviously, something that should be considered.
No. Israel, why?
Can you close the door? I don't know, I thought everyone else was going to
No, Israel.
Alright, so...
Hello, Israel.
What?
No.
No, why are you guys so secretive?
Because right now we're figuring out what we're going to tell you.
Creating a UN oversight committee to track the growth of Palestine in order to help them if requested. D. Opens up communication channels between world leaders and the Palestinian state and pushes for full international recognition of the state.
This is a classic situation that happens in a negotiation, that you basically put a lot of muscle into getting agreement on the major issues, and then one final addendum or one final addition can just scuttle the whole deal.
Take note, delegates, that there is money and then there is choice. And given that we're talking about independence here, let's think about which one is more appropriate.
The United States did not come to the table demanding that we have a presence in Palestine. Rather, the Palestinian Authority chose to inquired with the United States, and we chose to offer our mutual defense pact.
Aye. Advise that within the one-year transition period, the said assembly will determine the governmental structure of the state of Palestine. B. Recommends the presence of UN election observers to guarantee elections with honest vote counting procedures.
And we hope that now, with the official giving of Jerusalem to Israel as their capital, that we can move on from there.
A very generous, compromise, and I think that's an important step forward. And I think we can definitely work with you on the terms you have listed.
Now, on the Israeli-Palestinian agreement, how does the Palestinian Authority vote on this agreement?
We vote yes.
Okay. Is there any opposition from any of the concerned parties, be State of Israel or Palestinian Authority? Seeing none, yes, we have an Israeli-Palestinian agreement.
I said this was one of the more successful negotiations I've been a part of because people really knew what their policy was.
You get right close to agreeing on something completely, and then it would just totally fall apart.
You can only imagine at the real life discussion table when you're sitting across, as Simon often says, from someone who you feel might be responsible for the death of a family member or a friend or a relative or whatever that is. For us to get into moments where it's slightly heated or contentious, I mean, imagine the magnitude that is amplified by.
And when we break down all of these problems like this, I think it makes the topic more easy for us to understand, more easy to address.
And when we started to consider the idea that we weren't making concessions, we were working towards a goal, we worked so much faster and in such a more concise and unified way.
As a mediator, it gives you an interesting perspective because you can kind of observe either side, even if you do have a particular bias.
It really goes to show us how innate these biases can be, and sometimes they come from origins that we don't quite understand. You're no longer in this petty give and take, rather both sides are really trying to create a whole different situation, a whole different reality. And indeed, that's far more productive, far more creative, and I think a lot more fun.